Hello, everybody. Continuing with my review of He's Just Not That Into You. I have to say the men in this movie, too, the men in these women's lives, if you will, don't make it any easier for them. Some of them just take the simplistic, typical guy way out kind of thing. The film is effective because I've seen stuff like this happen firsthand. A girl eagerly waits by the phone, waiting for the guy she gave her number to call her, but we probably know he won't or just doesn't even want to. Sounds simple, I know, but some people would accuse her of being dumb. But in my opinion, all she wants really is to be valued. And I've seen little things like that really destroy someone's self-esteem, and it gets pretty ugly, which is why I believe this movie isn't as unbelievable as some are making it out to be. But another gripe I do have with this film is the ending. Yeah, status quo, neat little package, yada yada yada. However, I sat there glued for 99% of it and really understanding what was happening. Sometimes that's all I ask in a movie. Plus, it delivered some lighthearted laughs. It had some say uh, it really it had some great subtle moments that weren't too over the top. It didn't mock my intelligence, despite despite my despite my gripes with the ending. I really liked this film. It kept my attention, and I felt it really brought to light why we asked that question. When I see movies with ensemble casts in of the romantic genre, two others come to mind really to stick out. 1999's Playing by Heart. The movie had decent performances with Sean Connery, Gina Rowland, Gillian Anderson, Jon Stewart, Dennis Quaid, and two awesome performances in the best storyline of the film with Angelina Jolie and Ryan Phillippe, but it suffered from the same type of boring, contrived, status quo, blah blah blah, and that 99.9% of this genre suffers from. And I also found many of the characters to be boring with a really forced depth. However, a brilliant film, Love Actually, was the complete opposite, with some of the best talent the UK had to offer, with interesting, likable, and human characters, and showed love in every form it possibly could, and not everything was wrapped up in a neat little package, so to speak. He's Just Not That Into You is not near as good as Love Actually, but it is light years better than Playing by Heart. I understood its characters despite its mainly good performances. I'm giving it 3.5 stars out of 5, so it's a high recommendation, so to say. All right, the next movie I'll be reviewing is Taken, a radical departure for former Oscar nominee Liam Neeson, who of course has the distinction of being nominated for one of the most powerful and graphic films I've ever seen, Schindler's List in 1993. Now, Neeson here plays Brian Mills, an ex-CIA agent who is enjoying his retirement and trying to get close to his 17-year-old daughter who lives with his ex-wife. So, of course, the daughter wants to spend the summer in Paris. But the paranoia of being a CIA agent who's seen action in some very bad days and very, very bad areas has him dead against his daughter leaving. However, eventually she leaves, of course, and as bad luck would have it, she and her friend are kidnapped. In a very unrealistic scene, with the help of fellow CIA alumnus, he is able to find out who got his daughter, what they'll do, and what the end result will be. This was just really rushed here. So, of course, this movie is not looking promising at all. However, I was in for a very pleasant and fun surprise. Uh, after that whole ludicrous setup, um, it turns into a very fun Jason Bourne-like adventure with twists and turns at the right time, an ambitious lead character, great dialogue, and the movie had an effectiveness to it, and it was filmed very well. It didn't leave me dizzy and wanting my head to explode like I did with Vantage Point. As some of you may know, I found Quantum of Solace to be extremely ineffective in what that film was trying to accomplish. I didn't have that problem here with Taken, and despite the first part of the film, it more than made up for with what followed. With many action adventure films, you had to suspend disbelief and just let it all sink in, and you either love it or you hate it, or or whatever. It's simple, really. I did that with films such as Bangkok Dangerous, Babylon AD, Death Race, or even Vantage Point. Vantage Point was merely lackluster, with the other three being downright craptacular. This wasn't at all. It did the right things it intended to do. However, the big bonus of the movie for me was Liam Neeson, who can bring the most cliche character to life. Neeson does a wonderful job here, and is surprisingly convincing. And I don't think I could even buy someone like Sean Penn in this type of role. Neeson's versatility has always been overlooked, in my opinion, because of his knack for choosing mediocre films. However, even in that mediocrity, he's always given the most of what his ability can to any character he has ever played. Taken is already better than all the action, espionage, suspense films, yada yada, of 2008. I'm giving this another high recommendation and 3.5 stars out of 5. If you're looking for a good thrill ride in the theaters, this is the movie to see if it's still playing. It's still doing really well in the box office, so I would assume it is. Okay, the last film I'll be reviewing this week is Fired Up. Another teen gross-out comedy in the grand tradition of college, sex drive, yada yada yada. Maybe I'm getting soft at my old age, but I still laugh out loud at movies like American Pie or the Harold and Kumar films because they had ambition and heart. Whereas movies like this here are just here to do one thing, and that's make the same old tired jokes, and we're supposed to laugh and find it funny because, hey, it's a comedy, right? Well, newsflash, movies like this and the other ones I just mentioned have lowbrow humor. Uh, but they have real substance to it. I like movies like American Pie, and they have characters that are more than one-dimensional, have personalities, and act like real teenagers do. This movie is just hateful, as the dialogue in this film wouldn't even be realistic if the characters were drunk and talking incoherently and rambling on about whatever. Yes, it's bad because the characters here are tragically sober. If they were drunk, maybe it would have been a better movie. I don't even. I really don't know. We get the usual bad sitcom like misunderstandings with the high R-rated sexual overtones, and the dialogue we're supposed to find funny because hey, it's a comedy, right? The plot is basically this: two very unlikable and annoying jocks go to a cheerleader camp. It's of course a scam, but of course they're soon into it. It's almost like American Pie Band Camp, a straight-to-video film, which was still funnier than this. I actually laughed out loud a lot at that, mainly because the gags in this film were just not funny. Um, anyway, it tried to combine the aspects of another a really good, actually, with a really good cheerleader flick known as Bring It On. It involved a competition with the evil cheerleading squad. Why they're evil? Because the movie tells them to be. That's all it is. Okay then. So the so-called antagonists in Bring It On weren't really evil at all. They actually had a method to why they were so upset. Um, so this is what makes this movie just mind blowing, and even in Philip Baker Hall, who I find is great in everything he's in movies like Magnolia or Boogie Nights, and of course his unforgettable guest spot on Seinfeld as the library cop Mr. Bookman. Um, and he's got to be one of the most talented character actors I've seen in Hollywood. Hits a really sour note here, and while he's giving everything he's got in this role, he has nothing to work with. He plays the coach, and the thing is, teenagers will probably find this movie funny, as much as I hate to admit it. However, when they get to be my age and see this movie, I don't think they'll be laughing anymore. So in closing, a real farce with no real thought or no real laughs. 1 star out of 5, and I'm being generous. All right.